So this is our manager slash leadership project. And I'm Courtney.
I'm Kelsey.
So for our interviewer, we chose Charlie Wallen. He is the assistant director of food services. He's over things such as catering, training table, and the Living Learning Center. And he's also actually my boss because I work with catering through food services.
So industry, inspiration, and responsibilities. We asked him what inspired him to go into this industry, and he told us that he was originally a political science major at Appalachian, but during his time there, he was a general manager at the Pizza Hut, and he just really loved it. And when he graduated, he wasn't so much interested in political science anymore. So when a position became available with food service, he wanted to take advantage of that. And we also asked him what his day-to-day responsibilities were, and he said running the departments like catering, training, and then representing food services at different functions. And it really depends on the time of year for this and what's going on campus, but just pretty much different events throughout the year and organizations.
So skills and challenges. We asked him, what characteristics do you need for your position and what skills do you use every day? So he told us within food service, it can be a very high stress environment. And I agree, I can attest to this because catering can be a very overwhelming, high stress work environment some days. So we said you need to be calm and flexible. You can't be so rigid and expect to get everything done in an exact way because it will change and plans will fall and things will happen to where you have to be flexible in that kind of environment. He said you also have to have a sense of humor and be lighthearted for the same reason it can be a very overwhelming, high stress environment. He said communication is important. You're working a lot with people, whether that be coworkers or people under you or customers. So having a good communication skill and also being very personable is very important. Then we asked, what is the most difficult part of your job? And he said the people. This can be the people that work under him, so they can get stressed or irritated, and it can be difficult to work with them. Also, clients sometimes can be very difficult if they're very set on having their event on a certain date, or they just are unwilling to comply with the food service at the time. People can be very challenging to work with.
Organization and enjoyability. We asked him how he stays organized, and he said he makes a lot of mental lists because he's overseeing so many different functions and events and different departments. He said it's really difficult to make fiscal lists. It takes time and it's just hard to keep up with. So he said that mental lists, he finds them to be more productive. But he said that deadlines are also very important. If an employee or a client really needs something done at a set time, to give him a deadline, and he finds that most easy to keep up with. And then we asked him what was most enjoyable about his job. And he said he really enjoyed making people happy through food. It's so great to see them smile and know that you had an impact on that.
And then interactions and management. We asked, how do you interact with other positions in your field? So he said there's a lot of collaboration with restaurants and restaurant people. So they'll all go to big conventions or events, and they'll exchange a bunch of ideas. They'll share all the good and bad experiences within their industry, within their food service. So there's a lot of collaboration between restaurant people. Then we asked, how do you describe good and bad management? He said, good management, it's a positive environment. The job is done effectively. People are happy in a well-managed organization. There's profitability there, and you have a good reputation. In bad management, there's a lot of dissatisfaction with the workers, with the customers. There's disorganization, poor communication, and there's simply just a lack of business operations. He often said the people that manage, and they're just bad, it's bad management. They often just simply don't know how to run a food service type industry. They don't really know what goes into it and how it works. So that's bad management.
And then conflicts and rewarding aspects. We asked how he identifies and approaches conflict. And he told us that it wasn't very difficult to identify conflict, that you can usually pretty quickly. If it's with employees, you can just tell their demeanor changes, their attitudes and mannerisms will change. And about the same thing with the client. Sometimes it's more verbal, but it's about the same. You can just tell pretty quickly when they're unhappy. He said that the best thing that he's been able to do is try to step in if he sees it fit. Take them usually one-on-one, just let them sit down, speak their mind, kind of explain what's going on for each side. And usually he said once they get it off their chest, it's typically a change like overnight or the next day that they're a lot better. But sometimes if it's, if it's a more complex problem, he said sometimes constructive criticism can be really good. And then also we asked him what the most rewarding part of his career was. And he said it was by far meeting and making connections with people, that he loves to meet students and faculty members on campus and then also interact with other people in different restaurants and organizations and functions and events and just see how this industry impacts people. So I think that's about the end of it. Thank you for watching.